Emily Post was an American socialite, novelist, and author of the most notable books of etiquette of her time, and, arguably, ours. She was born in Baltimore in 1872 and died at her home in New York City in 1960, though her sensible advice lives on long after she has gone. Indeed, in the 1960s and 70s, when I was growing up, Ms. Post's books were the Bibles my mother, and eventually I, went to when a finer point needed to be sharpened for, say, a dinner party or a gift-giving situation. When Judith Martin, aka Miss Manners, published her guide to excruciatingly correct behavior, it did not displace Mrs. Post, but enhanced her on my bookshelf. This is why, when I read an article about Donald Trump being huffy, or salty as the article had it, about the judge at his latest arraignment not addressing him or referring to him as Mr. President, and I wanted to find out if the judge was within etiquette rights in the chosen form of address, Mr. Trump, I went right to Emily. According to Mrs. Post, when addressing a former president of the United States in a formal setting, the correct form is Mr. Last Name, President Last Name, or Mr. President are terms reserved for the current head of state. She, or her descendants who now write in her name, allow that addressing a former president as Mr. President is done so frequently these days, and by folks who should know better, that it has become a somewhat common mistake. It is therefore Mr. Carter, Mr. Clinton, Mr. Bush, Mr. Obama, and though I might be among those who would have to resist the urge to address him as Mr. You dumb fucking traitor if I ever had the misfortune to meet Donald Trump, Mr. Trump is the correct form of address. I'm sure the judge is gratified by this clarification. You know who else is determined to cling to a title and form of address they no longer deserve? Meghan Markle. According to a 2022 article in InStyle magazine, after making it quite clear in her infamous interview with Oprah that she had no need for a royal title after her move back to the U.S., she had a change of heart. Meghan rethought her decision to disparage her title because she began to see the use of it, the advantages that came to her with the title, how she could benefit by clinging for dear life to being a duchess. Let's be clear. According to whomever sourced this article, Meghan wasn't interested in maintaining her title because she thought she could do great or good things for the people of the country, or even the county Sussex that bestowed the title upon her, but because she saw a benefit to herself in hanging on to it. This is something Meghan has in common with Donald. He's currently running for president, and he's not running because he wants to do great and good things for the nation he wants to once again head, but because he wants to be able to pardon himself of his many and various crimes once he has his title back, and then, of course, to continue his very lucrative presidential grift once he's installed again in the Oval Office. Now, not saying Donald and Meghan are identical in their attachments to their titles. Donald Trump, for example, was fired from his job as American president by the American people. Meghan quit her job as Duchess. The American people did a fine job of removing Trump's title and will, God willing, do as efficient a job should the Republican Party be so delusional as to allow him once again to become their standard-bearer in 2024. There is, sadly, no such straightforward path to removing Meghan's title. Also, while Emily Post is clear on what to call a former president, she offers no guidance on what to call a duchess who refuses the work involved in her job but wants to hang on to the perks even so. In common, however, is the importance both of these little people attach to titles they either no longer hold or should not hold, or both. America, at least as it looks at the time of this taping, will have one more chance to fire Trump in November 2024. Or he'll be in jail or something, because it doesn't look as if he has it in him to graciously concede an election, and any title that goes with it. As for Meghan, well, she likes to think of herself as classy. How classy would it be to come to the realization that she is not fulfilling in either deed or spirit the obligations she took on when she accepted her title, and give it back voluntarily? Emily Post would most certainly approve if that happened. But Yeah, not holding my breath waiting for Meghan to be classy either. What name would you call Meghan or Donald if you had the misfortune to meet either one of them? If you like what we're doing here at The Authentic, give this video a like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified as soon as a new video goes live, and think about leaving a comment too. Really, what would you call Meghan or Donald?